Alright, so I'm just going to use the microphone with the camera for this one instead of having to deal with all the mic setup. Let's give a go on coupling these the tender to the engine. So, as we know, we currently got it laid on its side on a piece of foam. We've got our coupler in here, our power socket in here. We obviously have our connector that we have to go into there. What you want to do, if I recall, is first things first is to align up the connector, because since it's so tight on the model, just having them aligned up will pretty much do it. And then I'm also watching the fact that the battery is running really, not the battery, the storage on the camera is running really low. Because we've got the G-arm in the way, it's going to cause, and just push the plug in, and it should be a secure fit. I think that should do it. And then obviously mount plate goes in, and there we go. That should be it connected. I actually think it might not actually be fully in yet, but the people may have different ways, and you might have your own way. For me, that was the easiest way to put that in, yes, because there's enough area on the bottom to do that. And yeah, let's bring it down to layout and give it a run. We'll see you all at the layout. Alright, here we go. So on the layout, finally, it's hit dark enough anyway, so that we won't have any annoying backlighting or whatever. I'm just hoping the camera will deal with it, because focus. Anyway, so we've got the J just off the shot because it's kind of annoying to have to carry it around, so I've just sat it on the layout off the track, obviously. But anyways, here we got it. We've got number 5. Here we go again. I actually didn't have the plug fully attached properly, so it's actually coming out quite easily, which is kind of annoying. So I will have to put that back in again. Alright, after a little bit of fiddling, I think it's in finally. Can only hope anyways. It is fiddly, so use the exact same tactic as before, putting the screwdriver from the bottom side and pushing it on, but should hopefully hold this time, assuming that the pin is locked in properly as well. Right, there we go. So that's come on, focus, come on, there we go. That's 549. Now on the outer loop, I would like to give a quick heads up to the fact that it is now sitting on an 18-inch curve. That's a second radius 18-inch curve that the engine is currently sitting on, with a recommended of 24 inches for its wheelbase. So yeah, that's the situation we're in at the moment. We're going to give it a go on an 18-inch curve. Let's get it moving. I'm just going to rock it back and forth as like normal. Pretty growly, this one. So we'll have forward-facing headlights, and then on the tail we should have all 3 markers on. Not that we can see, so. Kind of interesting that it's quiet on the reverse, but it's a bit noisy on the forward. That sounds pretty right, doesn't it? But oh well. Well, as we can see, it is currently rocking back and forth on this 18-inch curve directly in front of it. The curve isn't as tight on the two outsides, but the centre of it is 18 inches. Let's get it going on its running in. So 30 minutes in each direction is what we usually do. We'll get a few running shots as well as it's doing its run. So let's set her off. I'll be setting the controller at about 45% as well. I'm using a gauge mask combi, so all the noises from the motor is the noises from the motor. I know I'm having that weird PWM issue like the older Hornby controllers. Let's get some running shots. Alright, we're just going to have a quick pause from the actual video. So I've moved over to the workshop temporarily. So you would have just saw the locomotive just taking off on its backwards run for its running in, but I've had to hold it off because after it was making its first loop, before we got back to the camera, it was making a very high-pitched noise. I thought it was the tender bogies, but it actually wasn't. It was the pony truck. So we're going to have a try putting in some, we've just gone and thrown on some lubricant into the axles of the pony truck. So we're going to put that back on and hopefully it's going to make it run sound a bit better, because the noise was just getting actually quite loud and the room is quite echoey, so it was just really starting to cause a problem. So alright, so there we go. We've had our 30-minute run in both directions, so an hour's worth of running in, with the exception of that little stop in the middle because of that issue with the front bogie, which I think the oil's slowly starting to wear out because it's starting to make a slight squeak again, which is really interesting that it's started having those, started developing those problems, especially in the reverse direction only. Anyhow, I think it's about time we go and couple her up to a train, and actually let's run some form of service with her. So let's let her push back onto the train. The train's already sitting on the second loop, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Alrighty, so here we go. As I say, I brought out a few of my four-wheelers plus the two dingo wagons on to put the two older bogied wagons. So that took a few more attempts than I thought it would, because it was having problems. The wagons are derailing, four-wheelers, what do you expect? That's why bogie wagons are a lot better for this layout anyways. So let's get, it's a few kit-built wagons and a few ready-to-run wagons. I'm hoping they're still going to run well, properly, despite the fact that one of them has already had to be pulled off because of derailing problems. So yeah, let's get these ones started. Let's see how she goes. She seems to be wheel slipping quite a bit as well, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see. We'll have a chat about that at the end. Alrighty then, I think that's probably enough of a demonstration of, pulling some sort of load anyways. We're just going to follow the locomotive around a little bit around the layout. You have to remember the way the layout is designed is predominantly as a test layout. So that's an 18-inch corner it just went through, 18 inches in radius. This is about to hit the highest point in the layout. You can see she's struggling a little bit to get up with this little load, which is kind of interesting. And then onto basically the flat, and then around the corners and back onto a downhill. Again, that guards van is, if you notice, the guards van suddenly turned around halfway through it and disappeared in one of the shots, because the guards van's actually not liking the corners too well. Probably because there's a massive gap in the rails right there. That's will be rectified once I deal with the layout. To be rectified. In any case, she's actually running pretty nicely. Noise honestly doesn't annoy me as much as it should. I do question about the guys who are the DCC sound ones, because this noise of the motor is pretty loud when it gets loud. So it is pretty distinct to the motor, to the DCC, to the actual sound that's able to come out of it. But I have a feeling that that might be running on DCC. You might have less of an issue compared to running on DC, because you can see the light is flickering, which means there's obviously connection issues with the track. The track's not 100% clean. I'll also have to sort that problem out. What can I say? It's a pretty nice model for what it is. The expectations were set a little bit higher based on its promotional what's it called? What do they call it? Based on the test model. That's like the test model. Is that the right way to call it? Like the demonstration model. Because they were pretty powerful and they seemed pretty well in mechanism when they were running on the Tulloch layout, but I think the production models may have chosen to obviously have some things change in it slightly, but still a pretty decent model for what it is. Definitely not going to be able to pull the sort of load that that one did though. But I've just realised, because I've had the locomotive upside down, I've had the thing up. But yeah, so what can I say? It's a pretty nice model. Is it worth what it is? For the Australian market, and the fact that we're comparing it to brass models, most definitely, but it's an interesting market because the Australian market is nothing near as big as, say, if you can go out and get a getting a $600 Flying Scotsman model is, to a lot of people, is out of the reach, but you would only be paying nearly around $300, maybe $350 for one of those, so it's a different industry. As usual, ratings will be up at the end. I am looking to hopefully do a full review video later on in the future, after I've got to see run them a bit, play around with them a bit, see. Alright, so I'll let her leave the screen and we'll end off the video here. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this unboxing, first look, first impressions video of the Ixion models J class.